This is a place where the local currency evaporates daily, and the US dollar reigns supreme. The captivating beauty of the women is an invisible burden. Even stranger, criminals are sanctified and prayed for peace, with hundreds of thousands of shrines dedicated to them. Welcome to real life in Argentina. Number 1. A miniature Europe in the heart of South America. Located in South America, Argentina's territory spans over 1 million square miles, roughly 28% the size of the United States. With 46 million people, it's one of the most sparsely populated countries on the planet. A 6-hour drive along the legendary Ruta 40 highway through Patagonia will leave you with not a soul or gas station in sight. The only things crossing the road are herds of guanaco camels or ostriches. This unspoiled land was once a colossal economic powerhouse. In 1895, Argentina's average income was among the highest in the world, surpassing that of the United States. Both countries started with vast territories and welcomed millions of European settlers. The difference lay in strategy. The US chose a path of radical industrialization. Argentina chose to tie its economy to the export of beef and agricultural products. More than a century later, the US has become a global superpower, while Argentina continues to struggle with hyperinflation. While Colombia and Peru clearly reflect the Latin American appearance with their tanned skin, Argentina is an exception. It has the highest percentage of white people in Latin America, accounting for approximately 97% of the population. Before the 16th century, this land was home to nearly 1 million indigenous people. By the 18th century, the colonial economy continued to bring about 200,000 Africans to the Rio de la Plata region. Textbooks blame wars and the 1871 yellow fever epidemic. But modern research has exposed a harsher truth: an administrative eradication. At the end of the 19th century, the authorities were determined to whitewash the population by removing black people from the census. In addition, the government opened its doors to over 6 million Italians, Spaniards, and Germans. Although genetics proves that 50% of Argentinians still have Latin American ancestry, visually they have created a miniature Europe. And the most interesting consequence of this genetic restructuring is Argentinian women. Join us in part 2 to find out more. Number 2. Argentinian women are beautiful, but hard to win over. Argentinian women are known for their captivating mixed-race beauty and healthy physique. They position themselves as Europeans. If you think Latin American women usually wear tight-fitting, neon-colored clothes, forget that image in Argentina. Here they call that style grasa, meaning unconventional. Walking down the street, you'll feel like you're in Milan. Street fashion favors long trench coats, oversized black jackets, and leather shoes. Makeup also follows a natural look. They skip heavy contouring, prioritizing natural skin, red lipstick, and investing heavily in hair care. But behind this standard appearance lies a paradox. Argentina is the birthplace of many feminist movements, yet medical data places it among the countries with the highest rates of cosmetic surgery and eating disorders globally. The pressure to maintain a certain appearance is a constant reality here. In terms of education, the percentage of women with master's degrees is now higher than that of men. This independence is evident in social interactions. If you plan on meeting someone, be prepared for a time zone shock. Suggesting dinner at 7 p.m. will make you feel like an alien. Restaurants only start taking customers at 9:30 p.m. A standard date usually lasts overnight and ends at 7 a.m. the next morning with coffee and croissants. Throughout those 10 hours, you'll be facing Chamuyo, the characteristic verbal communication culture of Argentina. Women here are very open, proactive, and willing to split the bill. For those carrying dollars, the exchange rate is a huge advantage. However, the unspoken rule is to maintain distance. They like the pursuit, but if you appear controlling or too pushy, they'll disappear immediately. Did you find this a difficult challenge? Share your thoughts in the comments. Number 3. Worshipping criminals as gods. This is no joke. Consider Gauchito Gil, a deserter and robber executed in the 19th century. Yet today, over 250,000 shrines bearing Gil's name have sprung up all over Argentina. People light incense, offer wine, and respectfully pray for peace from a former robber. The reason Gil was canonized is simple. He robbed the rich and gave to the poor. Before his death in 1878, Gil assured his executioner that if he prayed in his name, his sick son would be cured. A miracle indeed occurred, and Gil became a revered saint. Every year on January 8th, over 300,000 people flock to the town of Mercedes, turning it into a spiritual money-making machine worth tens of millions of dollars. This unusual veneration is also reserved for the country's football legend, Diego Maradona. He is now worshipped as a saint in his own religious sect, Iglesia Maradoniana, or the Maradonian Church. Founded in Rosario on his 38th birthday in 1998, this sect now attracts over 200,000 followers across 130 countries. They consider Maradona their savior, celebrate October 30th as Christmas, and strictly adhere to the 10 Commandments. Notably, to be baptized, followers are required to hit a ball into the net with their hands, reenacting the historic Hand of God goal in 1986. Even mainstream saints have been pragmatically influenced. San Expedito, the Roman saint symbolizing urgency and speed, has been transformed into the patron saint of bureaucracy. Every 19th of the month, from laborers to the elite, people line up to ask him to resolve business license issues or expedite the processing of paperwork. Besides its diverse religions, Argentina also boasts a deeply rooted and globally renowned sense of national pride. Let's explore it further in the next section. Number 4. People are going crazy for football. While sports in the US are purely an entertainment industry, in Argentina, a missed shot can shatter a statue and destroy a family. This national team boasts the most titles in the world with 23 championships, including 3 World Cups, 16 Copa Americas, 1 Confederations Cup, 2 Final SEMA, and 1 Pan American Championship. It's the only team to have a player win the World Cup Golden Ball 3 times, Diego Maradona in 1986 and Lionel Messi twice in 2022. At the 2026 World Cup, Argentina won all 3 group stage matches, with their next opponent in the knockout round being Cabo Verde. That glory wasn't born in luxurious academies. It originated in El Potrero, the rugged wastelands of the slums, where children played barefoot football and learned the art of survival. Today, El Potrero is gradually disappearing. Data shows that over 65% of vacant land in the capital has been acquired by real estate corporations. Poor children no longer have free space. They are forced onto artificial turf pitches that charge by the hour. Football brings fame, but also creates extreme pressure for achievement. Players have only 2 choices: bring home the trophy or become villains. Global superstar Lionel Messi was once the focus of criticism. In 2016, when he announced his retirement from the national team, the president personally called to persuade him to stay, and the city erected a bronze statue in his honor. But just 2 years later, when the team performed poorly in the 2018 World Cup qualifiers, people immediately used a chainsaw to cut off the statue's ankles and tossed it upside down onto the sidewalk. That same year, security reports noted an average increase of 25% in the rate of domestic violence against women in the country. Number 5. The country with the second highest inflation rate in South America. Imagine leaving money in your ATM card for 2 weeks. That's like burning 10% of your monthly salary. Since 1945, Argentina has experienced 12 inflationary surges. The peak was in 1989, when inflation soared to 3,079%, meaning prices increased 30 times in just one autumn. Cafe staff in Buenos Aires had to use chalk to adjust prices on the price boards up to 3 times a day. When inflation reached 211% in 2023, people developed a survival instinct. Payday became a chaotic day for supermarkets. Instead of saving, they'd rather buy 30 bottles of cooking oil and 50 rolls of toilet paper than let their money disappear. While in the US you pay installments for houses or cars, in Argentina, people use credit cards for everything from clothes and food to blenders. When the state's paper currency became obsolete, people automatically abandoned the peso. The US dollar officially became king in the country. Everything from houses and cars to salaries and bonuses was denominated in US dollars. Of course, the government couldn't sit idly by and imposed a strict foreign exchange blockade. Each citizen was limited to purchasing a maximum of $200 per month through banks, burdened with a tax of over 60%. However, the law couldn't stop the hungry stomachs of the people. In Argentina, these illegal money exchange points are called Cuevas, which means cave in Spanish. They aren't located in luxurious glass buildings, but are hidden behind barbershops, in the basements of cafes, or inside fitting rooms of fashion boutiques. Here, the exchange rate you get is always 1.5 times, or even twice, the rate listed by the state bank. This insane difference transformed currency exchange into a business ideology. People hoarded dollars on the black market, hopped on buses to Chile or Uruguay to hunt for electronics to sell for pesos, doubling their wealth overnight. The result was a massive outflow of money. By the end of 2023, Argentinians had hidden up to $254 billion outside the banking system. This figure is equivalent to the country's entire annual GDP. Number 6. Buenos Aires to Paris in the heart of South America. If you were blindfolded, thrown onto a 10-hour flight, and dropped into the streets of Buenos Aires early in the morning, you'd swear you were in Paris. Plain tree-lined avenues, wrought iron balconies, the aroma of espresso, and men in suits reading newspapers on the sidewalk. But then a couple dancing the tango on the pavement would suddenly pull you back to reality. You're in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Often called the Paris of South America, this isn't a cheap copy, but a relic of a golden age. Back in the early 20th century, Argentina was among the top 10 richest countries on the planet. The super rich at the time went all out, hiring master architects from France. They demolished numerous old Spanish quarters to create a second Paris. The result is that today, this megacity is home to 16 million people, accounting for a third of the country's population. Each year, Buenos Aires attracts 2.5 million international tourists, maintaining its position as the #1 tourist city in South America. In Buenos Aires, you must try Avenida 9 de Julio, the street commemorating the country's Independence Day. Spanning 140 meters with 16 parallel lanes, walking the entire length of this street through a single green light is a real test of physical endurance. If you want to see luxury firsthand, head to the upscale Recoleta district. Oddly enough, the hottest attraction here is a cemetery. Recoleta Cemetery is like an open-air architectural museum with hundreds of handcrafted marble tombs. The price per square meter of burial plot here is more expensive than a street-front villa. Buenos holds the Guinness World Record for the highest density of bookstores per capita. On average, there are 25 bookstores per 100,000 inhabitants, 3 times more than New York or London. The real masterpiece is El Ateneo Grand Splendid. This magnificent theater, built in 1919, has been transformed into the most beautiful bookstore on the planet. You can sit right on the main stage, sip coffee, and read a book. Number 7. A peculiar transportation feature. If Buenos Aires' architecture makes you feel like you've wandered into elegant Paris, then the moment you step onto the streets, the incessant honking and tire burning overtakes are distinctly South American. Traffic in Argentina is a chaotic symphony played at a high tempo. People here drive with the confidence of a Formula One racer, coupled with the recklessness of someone who doesn't bother with insurance. Aggressive lane changes and tailgating are commonplace. In particular, the street language here is the complete opposite of most of the world. While elsewhere, flashing headlights at an intersection means yielding, in Argentina, if you see a driver flashing their lights and you calmly walk past, you're practically playing with death. Here, flashing your lights means, "Get out of the way, I'm going first." To survive on these streets, Argentinians have created their own unique traffic ecosystem, exemplified by Colectivo. Founded in 1928 when struggling taxi drivers devised a scheme to share fares with strangers, Colectivo has become an iconic bus network in the country. Buenos Aires alone boasts over 180 routes operating 24/7, each brightly colored for easy identification from afar. Interestingly, they never automatically stop at designated stops. You have to stand by the roadside and wave vigorously, just like hailing a taxi. In return, Colectivo fares were once ridiculously cheap, at one point costing less than a piece of chewing gum. And if you're driving yourself, street psychology is a mandatory survival skill. When you park on an empty sidewalk, a man with a tattered rag will immediately approach to collect your fare. These are trapito, self-proclaimed parking attendants not affiliated with any authority. Legally, you have the right to refuse, but in reality, every driver happily pulls out a few hundred pesos in loose change to give them. This is just to ensure that when they come out after eating, their car body doesn't have another scratch mark from a key. Number 8. The most appealing cuisine. Argentinian cuisine isn't for the faint-hearted. It's a fiery clash between the ruggedness of prairie cowboys and the sophistication of Italian and Spanish immigrants. Most famous is asado, a barbecue feast with grilled meats cooked over hot coals and served with a garlic chili chimichurri sauce. A word of advice: never order well done, always order rare or medium. If you want to enjoy street food, stop by the food carts near Boca Juniors Stadium and order a choripan. This is the king of street food, a charred pork or beef sausage, sliced in half and sandwiched between crispy bread. Besides that, the empanadas are a legendary treat not to be missed. You can guess the filling just by looking at the folds of the crust. Rope-like folds mean ground beef, straight folds mean cheese. When you bite into it, remember to lean slightly forward so the hot gravy doesn't drip onto your shirt. For Italian food lovers, try Milanese, a thinly sliced, deep-fried beef patty topped with tomato sauce, ham, and baked mozzarella cheese. However, the craziest part lies in the more extreme specialties. A standout is vizcacha en escabeche, a dish of wild rat meat marinated in vinegar. The meat is boiled in a mixture of strong vinegar, oil, bay leaves, and peppercorns, then chilled in glass jars for weeks. To balance the intense acidity, it's essential to eat it with salty cheese and a sip of rich Malbec red wine. Furthermore, locals are obsessed with sweet blood sausage stuffed with raisins, orange peel, and almonds. When grilled and sliced, the inside is a soft, pudding-like mass of blood with a contradictory blend of salty, sweet, and fatty flavors. Don't eat it while it's piping hot, as the sweet blood retains heat for a long time and can easily burn your tongue. The proper way for connoisseurs to eat it is to spread it on a slice of crispy toasted bread, tostada, similar to eating liver pâté. Which of these dishes would you like to try the most? Please leave a comment below. Number 9. Interesting facts you may not know about Argentina. Do you believe that the genetically mutated mutants in X-Men actually exist? If not, visit San Antonio de los Cobres, a remote village in the Andes. There, the villagers still casually drink spring water containing arsenic levels 20 times higher than the World Health Organization's limit. Arsenic is an extremely toxic substance that once killed Emperor Napoleon. But strangely, the villagers have been drinking it for thousands of years without any ill effects. Later, scientists discovered the answer. Drinking water infused with volcanic rock for thousands of years triggered a selective mutation in the AS3MT gene of the villagers. Their bodies transformed into chemical factories, self-neutralizing and eliminating toxins before they could reach their cells. Argentina's strangeness doesn't stop at its genetic code. Football is very popular, but the official national sport in the country is pato. In the old days, horsemen would stuff a live duck into a leather bag, galloping wildly while scrambling to throw it into an opponent's basket. Today, the duck has been replaced by a 6-handled leather ball. This country also pioneers in unexpected fields. When asked, who made the first feature-length animated film, 99% of people would answer Walt Disney's Snow White in 1937. The truth is, Argentina is the progenitor of animation. The world's first feature-length animated film, El Apostol, was made in Argentina in 1917 by director Quirino Cristiani. The 70-minute film consisted of 58,000 frames, all hand-drawn and paper-cut. Sadly, the only surviving film was destroyed in a 1926 archive fire. They were also the first country to use fingerprints to solve crimes in 1892, prompting both the US FBI and Scotland Yard to travel there to learn. Even nature played a cruel trick by choosing Patagonia as the resting place for Argentinosaurus, the largest land dinosaur in history, weighing as much as 14 African elephants combined. Number 10. Cost of living in Argentina. Although no longer the cheapest country in Latin America, the cost of living in Argentina is still incredibly affordable. First, there's accommodation. A one-bedroom apartment in the heart of Buenos Aires costs between $600 and $800 per month. If you venture to the outskirts, the price drops to just $400. For tourists, a night in a clean, mid-range hotel costs only about $40. Food costs are also very low. You can find delicious street food like empanadas or choripan for just $2, and a satisfying dinner for $8. A fancy date at a mid-range restaurant will only cost 2 people around $50. In the morning, a perfect espresso or cappuccino costs only $2.50. Transportation is also surprisingly inexpensive. A single ride on a Colectivo bus or Subte subway costs only 70 cents, pushing the cost of a monthly pass down to $16. An Uber or taxi for a 5-kilometer journey costs only $5. Private car rentals start from $35. But the real trump card is the healthcare system. Argentina provides 100% free public healthcare for everyone, including foreign tourists. The only downside is the outdated facilities and long queues. Therefore, Americans often choose private insurance for just $120 to $250 a month. This package allows access to upscale private hospitals, like 5-star hotels, and English-speaking doctors without any extra charges. In short, with just $1,500 to $1,800, you can live comfortably in this country. Thank you for watching all 10 facts about Argentina. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, and share this video to give us more motivation to share videos about the hidden aspects of geography, culture, and economics around the world. See you on our next journey.